Hi everyone, this is going to be a stream for anyone who's got questions about Dev Machine. I'm ready for your questions, so let me just sort out my other monitor for one. And I'll put the chat over there. What's the turn on? I'm just going to move this stuff down a bit. Let's do... Alright, I've just been working on this menu bar stuff. So I'm eventually going to add in menus here. So there's nothing much different other than that. Tidying things up a bit. I realise this monitor's not... I think I know why. Let's just close them and close that. I need to extend displays. You know, it might be alright if yeah, I'll just use a single screen, this windowed. Let's try it this way. See if I can get the chat up in here. Right, gonna do pop out. Alright, good evening. Welcome to the chat. So this is kind of a little just live demonstration of Dev Machine. I'm just going to take questions and people ask me how do I do a thing. Obviously nothing too complicated, but I'll try and cover some ground with it. So yeah, fire away if you've got a question about the tool. If I can get it to do something not too fancy. It's very oblong. That's a bit better. How goes your evening? How's your Saturday night? Getting pure pished or just an easy, quiet one? I'm just going to make these look a wee bit different for the fun of it. Go with that. I wonder if I should share the stream, because I don't think I've done that yet. Yeah, I'll share the stream. Let's do Discord. Where else could I share on X? All right, I'll just post one here as well. I'm going to do Facebook's C64. Yeah, I'll do this one. Why it's not loading up? Is it loading? There we go. Okay, let's do this one. This one's a bit easier to post in. Let's do that. Examples. Okay. Don't need a hashtag in there. All right. I'm coming back. See if there's any questions. Yeah, no questions from me. Assembly is way over my head. Just here to watch and enjoy. Cool. I see you've got like is that a Spectrum logo? Or am I just looking at it too much? Don't know. Looks like a little Spectrum. Everyone's welcome. I was just curious if you ever tried Basic or anything like that. I tried Basic in a Spectrum as well. Like with the keys all have the little commands on them. It's pretty cool. It was a bit inspiring for this kind of thing. All the buttons having the instructions on them. Yeah, basically the first lessons. Yeah, Spectrum. There's a node-based Spectrum game engine thing that I saw when I started making this. My mate showed me, I don't know what it was, like Spectrum game engine, and it's all kind of Node and spaghetti network stuff, a bit like Blueprint, Unreal's Blueprint, which is obviously an inspiration for this. Hey, how's it going, Scores? Is that right, Scores? Welcome. So I'm going to try and do more of these YouTube streams. I don't know, twice a week or something. Maybe more. Just depends how I feel. Or if I'm completely pissed out of my mind, I usually jump on as well. Okay, Basic used it in the Spectrum, C64 Atari. Yeah, I like a bit of Basic. It's cool when you learn like poke things. I don't know if Spectrum had like poke commands. I think it did. I think they all do. I think I remember there being poke commands in a Spectrum. But yeah, it's pretty cool once you get past, like this is your basic. If you switch this to hexadecimal, this would be very recognizable to anybody who's doing like that first poke on a Commodore. It's poke 53280, comma O, poke 53281, comma O, black border, black background. Yeah, that's where I started, and then started to learn how to poke at the SID chip, kind of randomly. I used the book a bit, got so far, and I was just like, yeah, there's just too much to it. There's just too many factors. Something I was going to do today, what was it? Is a sound effect thing. I had an idea because I was mucking about in Goat Tracker, so I could show a bit of that. I don't know if that will show the screen well, so I'm gonna do Control Enter, I think it is, or Alt Enter. Yeah, it turns it into this smaller screen. Oh, and that. But Goat Tracker is another beast. And I hate that fact that you can't change the size of the window. We don't think I'm being rude, but what is your software capable of right now? How rude of you to ask this. It can do everything. It can make you tea. Can make you loads of money. Nah, nothing's rude. Nothing's rude. If anyone's rude, it's me. I'm the rude boy. Right. What can't it do is probably the better answer. It can't do tape or cart stuff like through a macro yet. You can do pretty much anything through machine code. and you can code anything inside an assembly block. So you can do all your LDA stuff here, right? So it's kind of like, what can't it do? Because if you're a coder, you can just come in here and do whatever you want. Right, you can just code like normal. You can change this font style as well. It's a bit better like that. And it will do that. You can clear that as well. So it will just do that code, load 5, put it in at the border. I mean, RTS back to basic. So you can do everything. There you go. You can do everything through code. Everything, all your assets that you need, sprites. It can do multi-layered sprites. You have all 8 layers. If you want to do a multi-layered sprite, you can totally do that. So let's make a grey background just so that we can see the black. And oh, that was interesting. Wait a minute. Why is that a full bank? I just... Oh, okay. Right, okay, there's a bug. There's a bug there. It's not supposed to create a full bank of... I wonder if it's actually done that. Yeah. Okay, little bug find. It shouldn't have populated full set just by changing the background color. That's one that slipped through the net. So yeah, you can create sprites and bitmaps. SID music can load that in. Sound effects data is extracted from a goat tracker native file. Character sets you can import from Carpad. You can make up your own ones. You can edit a copy of the ROM files if you want to make your own custom font. You can totally do that. It loads all this in. Like, I've got loads of tutorials on how to do all this stuff, but it's capable of everything. If you know how to code. If you don't, then all these macros will help you get pretty close to what you can do if you knew how to code. Just all these features I covered in yesterday's video. Just a big feature update one, which was, let me find it. It's on my YouTube channel from yesterday. That's me right now. This one, yeah. This one will take you through everything that's new, how the macros work, each one, right up to right up to date, making a sprite. Everything you need is in there. So let me just share that in the chat. So if you have a look at that, you'll see what it can do, and then you'll say, okay, what can't it do, sort of thing. And there's still things that I want to make it do that are just convenient. You can check out Discord as well. Discord's got a huge list of my to-dos under Core Dev. This is literally kind of like my exposed to-do list, so anybody can come in and read this, but I don't allow any replies in this channel because it's just purely for me to be transparent about what I'm working on or what I plan to work on. And then progress will be what I've achieved in the end of the day or something like that. What I'm trying to achieve or what I'm working through. Any JSONs that I've been working on, like this crazy Benny Hill one I've dropped in there. And the video covers that. Tools and tutorials, loads of cool stuff in here. There is a learning channel as well, which is under training. These are more bespoke, less, what do you call it? They're more direct videos. They'll teach you like more formally the controls, the interface, and all that stuff. But I'll kind of like do bits of that here as well. So yeah, definitely check it out. There's a light version. The only thing with the light version is you don't get access to the extra stuff. Interrupt code blocks, moving memory around. So this is a nice one for if you want to take up a chunk of memory and copy to somewhere else. So you can do sort of reversals of code and keep stuff cached to do something and bring it back. So move bitmap block is similar to that, but it's more complex. It will use like color transfers as well and offsets via vars. This is all, that's kind of like a new thing. So it's work in progress, that one, but I thought, it's useful for testing. How's it going, 100 tin soldiers? Welcome to this little stream where you're welcome to ask away something. I'll just reset that again, and we're back here. I'm going to move this over a bit, current file, while we're here. I'm just going to move. I'm just tinkering about some UI stuff as well, whilst people ask me something. Display strings, okay. Okay, let's change that to 60. I'm working my way through the title bar, just a drop-down menu. So yesterday I was doing some graphics on it, and then that was kind of my day, just working on this new bar. To have, put macros in the menu and everything else. Put this in the menu, and it's all just up here. It keeps a bit more space for everything else. Let's bring that chat back open. I still need to make it remember the window size for PC. I've done it for Mac, but just do it each time. So if you've got a question about the tool, something that if you've picked it up and you're curious about how to just do a thing, let me know. Just ask a question. Does anyone want music? I can play some of my cool Sid tunes in the background, maybe quiet or not. Yeah, I'll go for it. I've got a little silly playlist, but I'll keep it super quiet. Just keeps us entertained a bit. Let me know if that's alright, if it's too loud or anything. I'll bring it up a wee bit so you can at least hear it. But you also want to hear me. Where was that? Just been having a play around, but at the moment getting sprites controlled. Been doing Spectrum stuff for a while. Okay, so I might have converted you. I know there's, like I was saying to Steve there, that there's a Spectrum engine thing with nodes. Let me find it, because it's been a while since I dug into that. Spectrum node based IDE gaming engine. I think, is this it? Yeah.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to the show.
Retro Shack.
Alright, so I need
Share.
you to brace yourself slightly, because what we're about to see
Is it
still
this?
feels like a prank at times before collision.
Yeah, it looks familiar. That looks like the thing that I saw.
It's logic which we'll come back to. That toolchain is
Yeah, I'll share that in the chat as well. I've done some superb Spectrum games. We'll do a C64 game next. And use Dev Machine. Feel free to ask me like something that you feel would be a roadblock. I've been using it. Yep. Yeah, so I don't know whether just show some examples or something. I was going to do the SID thing, but it's a bit more in depth. I was actually going to make up a feature for that, or tap into the registers. Oh yeah, so for things like that, like if you wanted to tap into a register, you can do a set var, right? And it's not just a variable, it's a set anything, because you can look up hardware registers, and you can do voice stuff, set frequencies, pulse width, forget what control is. Forget. So attack decay, sustain release. What is control again? Shit, it's been a while since I added these, but D404 doesn't ring a bell, but everything's in there. Sprite registers, voices, kernel, getting character out, character in, everything that you can kind of want, and I can make it more extensive. I even added the C64 Ultimate Speed Setter, and I can put in other stuff there as well. There's not many. So sprites, yeah, sprites are the funnest part of this. So yeah, there was a bug with when you pick colours here, right? That is the weirdest one. I never saw that until now, because it's just populating every sprite. I need to fix that right away. What about this one? Okay. It only does it if you choose these. That's weird. That's because yeah, that's because these colours update the buffers, and the buffers just assume. Where is that again? Let me see if I can fix that real quick. 4096. Update addresses. Right. Let's import project. It's a bit, yeah, it's a bit too. There's too many things everywhere related to that. What was that? Change that to, yeah. Don't know if that'll fix it. There's probably a few other places. Can we create our own macros? So yeah, someone else asked that, and basically code blocks are essentially your macros. So for example, let me just save that. I think that might have fixed one of the things. That's just for import at least. So what I was thinking, let's say you had a move macro, and then you had some like no operations and whatever else you wanted in there, an LDA something or other, right? And you said, okay, I want all this, turn it into a macro, like your own custom one. So that's doable, right? Eventually I'll do that, and basically what it will do is it will make a code block, so it would condense all that down, basically throw that aside, right? And it would become that, and all that code would be in there. So I'll just show you what that would kind of look like if I put that there and clear this and press F2. Open that. You'll get basically all these instructions, right? You've got your macro move. Oh, yeah, it's basically there's nothing in there because there's nothing to move. But if, let's see, just add a sprite for it to register, or no, it just needs to have. Oops. it just needs to have a value. Is that right? Yeah, there's 9 bytes. 9th bit will make it more expensive. So there's like a 9th bit means it will pass 255 horizontally. And yeah, F2 that. Open it. And what that would do then is just condense, it would rip out this code. Yeah. To there, and it would do something like that. It would put that in there, and it would call it, you know, custom macro. You would probably name it. You say, you know, it would say convert to macro, and you'd name it custom. The name, right? Macro created on whatever it might be, 6626. Right, and then it would just be these instructions. There's a few things that these are references to variables, so not everything would work as sweet as you would like, because a lot of this is let's see, what is this again? So if I close that, wrap vars dxdy, is that what it's getting? Carry, add carry, that's moving 1 as it's branching to this here. If it's oh yes, it's the 10th bit stuff, but this here is a label sort of to nowhere, so it's just, these are just skip parts. I mean, I don't know if that would still work, so that's the other thing, like this needs tested. So this is branching to that label there, but then this is a label, I guess, for nothing. Oh yeah, this is like a skip over. I guess that's used somewhere else. But that's what it would do. So you would end up with that, and then what it would do, it would call this, you know, custom macro. Right, and then it would change. You can alt click or double click the header here, and then you could call that, or it would call it that, a special move. Right, and then you could maybe change the color of the bar, and all I need to do is add that to the code block, but it would just make that. That way you can always go in and edit your macro. Right, it's not just going to be a one-off thing. You could go back and enter it, but you can see you could just do that yourself. You can F2 it, extract what you need, put it in a code block. But then you need to kind of make sense of it. For me to automate all that stuff is just, I don't know yet how intricate that might get, because there's a lot of dependencies. The macros are kind of a different beast if you want to combine a macro and other stuff in another macro. So you can see where I'm going with that. It might be a bit too whoa. So let's bring up the chat again. Close that. Close that. Go away. Okay, so do we create our macros so the flow can be folded and keep a tidy workspace? The other thing to do with folding was someone asked, like, can you condense nodes down? And I tried that, and it just, the way that the stack works is it's like they kind of look above themselves for what was there, and then if I was to condense it all down, like stuff was just flying up and flying down, and it had to work at all the height of all the different nodes, and it just took one rogue node to like be thrown in the middle of it or something and not be connected. And it's a lot more robust now, but I opted not to do it, like the collapsing thing. So basically, yeah, turning that, it would extract the code, it would put it all into a macro, and it would ask if you want to keep this, because what it would do, basically just it would add it there, and then it might do something like it would tab all this aside for you and disable it. I might have a little disable buttons where it, or it just would, it would sort of just throw it to the side like that, so you've still got a reference to it, and if you want to clear it up, just press F1, and you see it get rid of other stuff that wasn't used as well. I think people who develop software for love machines need our support. Buying this now. Oh, thank you so much. Cheers, Steve. Did I miss much? No, I've just started. Just taking questions. just taking questions so that people can see what this tool is about. It's still in development, but it's beyond the 80% there mark, so it's still in a alpha phase. And then when it hits version 1, I'll call it a beta phase for a while, till it gets to 1.25 or something. And then I'm pretty sure all the bugs would have been sorted out. There's a few little rogue bugs that aren't showstoppers. How do you indent the blocks? You press tab or shift tab, a bit like you would with code. You know, you can tab, shift tab. You can, I don't know if can you multi-select in tab? No, that doesn't work yet, it just breaks. That's something that's on the list, because Game Maker's got that, so I'm trying to like imitate everything that I know about other software. So yeah, I quite like to do something like if you've got a game loop. Notice there's a bug there as well. If you tab, it still thinks the node's here. So if you try and double right click there, it doesn't work. But that's kind of a good feature, because it might overlap an org blocks code beside it. So what was I talking about? Indenting. Oh yeah. So you can also like control drag a node. You can control select, control drag. Right, so then if you wanted, like, if that was your game look, so you press A, press J, right? Favorite nodes. Control drag and tab that, so you get a nice kind of like thing like that, and then your OR block continues code, so it flows down here and just carries on there. You see this detects where this whole spine ends. You can press I and it shows you every single address, plus it shows you the forget what we call it, like the raster timing and whatnot, how many PAL cycles how many cycles it is, and it sort of carries them up, tallies them up and all that, and then continues here. So if I put another up here, it just continues through. So it's kind of like, instead of coding all the way down, you're coding down and across the way, and you can see this has got like a sensor on it. This purple area, it's looking for its neighbor, right? So if there's one here, it'll be like, okay, that's where I will have to continue from. But it doesn't always work that way, so you can wire them up to make sure that they behave, right? So it doesn't matter where you put this now. Is that a bug? There's a bug if that's above that there, just noticed. Oh, when you click the environment, it changes the address, but that's a bug if that's above it. Okay, found 2 bugs today. I'm making progress. So that's how you indent the blocks. Yep, F1 if there's nothing used, like V to make a vars block, so you can set your vars wherever you want. Let's say you had some variables at 3000, you just start to populate them, X position, whatever it might be, and that won't initialize it, that just sets it up for being at 3000. So then you would do a set var, look up your xpos and give it your start value, so you initialize things before your core game loop. I usually put my core game loop into the next org. It loses indenting, by the way, just it's a little bit of a thing that I still need to fix. I'd rather it keeps the indenting, but I never managed to get it to behave, because it creates these like brand new copies and stuff. It resets everything. Show, that's that. So just tab, shift tab. If you wanted to do an org block to hard set where you want it, yeah, see that it updates when you see it says 08 OE, that's just a default, but if you click it will update. It kind of forces it to refresh, because the reason for that is if it's checking every single frame, it really hit the frame rate once you've got a lot of nodes, so it only does it on like mouse release or mouse click, which makes sense, right? So sometimes you just need to click somewhere and it'll just update. Why make a big OR block? on top of every column. You can use the connector. The OR blocks are kind of like, they've got dual purpose, right? They've got proxies where they'll just sense what's there, but you might want to say that you want a code to be at 1200 here, right? So you're not wiring it up because you want it to start from this location, and then you would do a jump to that. So if you had like a, I'm trying to think, there's an example here. What's that one? This one? Yeah. So this one I've got like vars set up. This is my first initialization where I set up my music, unlock RAM, order stuff, set up variables, set up my bitmap, set up a sprite, do some animation in the sprite. This is just a little animation node. I say little, it's big. And then this is my start loop. It's waiting for the joystick to be fired. So it just does a check on that. Check on that there, which is a hardware register. Waiting for the fire button. And then, don't know if I have it, yeah, here. So the proxy's off here, but I've wired it up. So you don't always have to wire stuff. You can just have proxy if you want to just play it loose. It's always going to be sensing what's to the left of it. But if you wanted it to be stacked like that, it makes sense to wire it, so it definitely will continue the address. Or like I was talking about a minute ago, if you wanted to hard set the address and say, I want this to happen at 1800, some stuff, right? But you'll need to like jump to that. It tells me that I'm overlapping things as well, which is kind of handy. So I would say like, okay, 1600, I'm free from that. If you overlap things, it will show you in the memory bar as well, if it's an asset in code or something like that, but otherwise it will flash, and you just need to look at the addresses. So you might have a situation where you're like, okay, I need to jump over there and do some stuff and then jump back. So for example, before I hit target, which is this is a core game loop for waiting for the joystick input, a couple of raster weights. Don't know why I put in 2 here, to be honest. There's a reason for it. I don't know, just wanted to slow the game down a bit, I suppose. So yeah, waits for 2 frames, so it runs at, I guess, 30 frames per second. Don't know why I've done that. But anyway, you would do something like a J and jump. You don't just jump to that address, you put in your label and do stuff, right? And if you're jumping, then you jump back, but you can do an RTS all the same. And then it could be a JSR, just press J while over it, and it converts that JSR, do stuff, and then you can pop that into there. See, it came up a wee conflict there, because I just had to click the button for it to refresh. It takes a click to make all the memories update. I'll improve that later as well. So, and the reason for the OR blocks is so that you can code like along the way, not just like code in one big skinny long thing there. And you see how everything's in these boxes? Well, if you hold down space, I think I might be changing this, by the way, so it might change to like F12 or something. Because I'm going to use space to act instead of middle mouse button, because there's a little problem with the shift key being used for other things. It ends up locked up when using like Control Shift S to file save. It ends up when you come back, it's sort of stuck and you're not even pressing shift. So I'm going to move some buttons about and update documentation on that. So space basically just takes you to one of these boxes, right? You just press B and you can say this box does stuff, right? That does stuff. And then if you were like, oh, where's that bit of code that does stuff, then you just hold that down and go, oh, it does stuff, and then it's straight to it. It's an easy way to sort of navigate about. You can also double click. I think sort of focuses on them. You can do that at different zoom levels. You can press 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to go into different zoom levels. Arrow keys, page up, page down. If you want to take a screenshot, if you had like a bug or something, you just go to this here, and you can use like the arrow keys, page up, page down, and sort of give me a kind of screenshot. Say, right, there's my nodes, but you would also say F2 as well, and you would give me your dumped file, and then I would take a look at it and I'd say, okay, it's a bug with my macro, or it could be better, or something like that. You can basically give me that, and I can then debug anything much easier. I can see exactly what your code is. Plus, you can give me the PRG file. You can export the PRG as well as just build. This one, I'll show you what this does. Actually, it's a silly stream a couple of nights ago, like Benny Hill, and then silly little sprite there. Press fire, and then it's sort of got 2 layers of music here. Where's that? Somebody says it was like Benny Hill with a little guy running about. So just showing like collision working, just running about. So you had your initial bitmap there waiting on fire button, and then this was just a running about thing. Eventually these will become templates, right? I'm not making anything like fully committed yet, and I don't recommend doing anything fully committed yet, but if you feel like tinkering with something and making a start on it, just make sure you save a lot, right? Because some people are losing their save files or something, like are not just being careful. So I'd recommend saving your files. I don't know where the chat's going. Hello, Sandra Clark 8661. Is that right? Yep. Welcome to this little stream. So I'm just showing examples. I'm taking questions. Anybody who's got a question about the tool, if they're curious about it, if they've seen me post it like a maniac, spamming the world with this tool, because I don't know, I've committed to doing this for the last 4 months as a full-time job with no income right now, so I'm kind of relying on this to be something bigger than it. Well, as big as it could be, as a tool that could be used to make games, for people to learn assembly essentially as well. So I'll clear this. I'll not clear this. I want to show you the character set as just these little characters. So you can switch this, so you can see high res and multicolor modes. Obviously, I just done everything in high res, and there's a map here as well. Let's see. Start with my C64C I used to type in listings for magazines. Yeah, I did loads of that, and that was some sort of magic. That was, yeah. I think I know how they did it. With that you get the cheat sections in magazines, and it was just like data. It was big blocks of data, which is basically they were programming like in machine code some kind of diversion of the main code, but it didn't make any sense to me how you managed to like poke all this stuff in memory, then load the game, which loads stuff in memory. How does that work? It's like the chicken and egg theory, right? What came first, the game being loaded or the hack? So I mean that boggles my mind, but I think I know how they did it. I think I know how they did it. I'm not too sure. Does anyone know? Would it be possible for someone like you to make a game and see a simple game looking like Space Invaders? Yes, that's probably the easiest thing, and that's one of the examples I'll be making up. In fact, I did do a kind of example of that. It must be way back here now. Shoot 'em up, shoot 'em up, shoot 'em up. Shooter demo. Is this it? Yeah, this might be it. And I have no idea if this will still run, but let's hit F5 and see what breaks. There we go. So we've got a little bitmap, and then press fire. It even has a sound effect. Don't know if you can hear that. Right, but it still needs enemies and, you know. Oh yeah, that's a bug. That sprite isn't firing at the right position. I wonder if we could fix that. I wonder if we can just take a look at that right now. So this sprite is the bullet, and I am firing it based on, it's the 9th bit of the bullet. So fire, bullet fire is here, plays the sound effect. What is that doing again? What's DO15? Oh, that's reset in position. Okay, that's copying the player's position as a starting point. Has fired, and then it needs to update. Bullet fire, bullet done, bullet move. Right, bullet move. Oh, it's got 9th bit enabled. But copying here, it probably wasn't set already. So that's DO. Is it DO10? So yeah, I mean, you can if you know what you're doing. But like I said, this will be like a template, and you would go in and you would edit your sprites. You know, you can change the look of your ships and stuff. Change the look of your bullets. Whatever it might be. You know, it's like flying left and flying right. Let's make that a bit more obvious. You can copy and paste, and you can flip. If you're coming from like a Commodore 64 background, it's a benefit, right? Because you'll know the limitations already of these machines. But if you're coming from like someone who's used Game Maker to make a a pretty pixel game and nothing can hold you back, you know, it's not going to be the same. It's not going to be easy. So yeah, I also had a map version of this as well. Yeah, I threw in a little map and I was testing with that. So you've got your bitmap here, but also you could have, yeah, if I took the bitmap out and put these in, there's something I need to change is the bank for the sprite, because I've actually written it here in map mode. The sprite set needs to move to 3000, and the AOs etc. change to COs. But since that, I've learned that I can actually do 2800 unless I'm using it. Yeah, 2800. And like a lot of things it should auto resolve like that. That's became to 2800 now, and it's the pointers auto resolved correctly, but there's now a map instead. Oh yeah, but anything that I've hard coded as AOs, there might be some things that I've done through code. Also need to fix the bullet, but that's a 9th bit thing. I think it's DO10 that I need to edit. In fact, all you need to do is look at a macro move and you can see how it works. So if I was to do F2 on this and open it, look for macro move, and then you can start to learn how the code works. The reason I made this was to learn machine code. I mean, it's easy for me to say, populate all these buttons and make them do what they're supposed to do, but I still need to learn how they work. So I'm quite good at coding a tool, but I still need to learn stuff. So yeah, DO10, that's masking a bit off. So that's basically allowing everything but the first bit through. Storing that back in, and yeah, so, turning it off, turning it on. I think switching it on. Oh, yeah. Oh, there you go. That's switching it on. DO15 is. Anyway, it's a bit complicated. That's all I'll say. But I think I need to do whatever sprite that is, sprite 1 and 2, DO10. if anyone knows machine code, feel free to raise your hand, say, yeah, I know how machine code works, Rob. It's this is what you want to do. And you could probably just do that. Feel free to say that, because I'm still kind of learning things and I forget quite easily whilst I'm making it. But yeah, it's getting there. So yeah, it's possible to make that, but you still need to introduce more sprites, and you can do collisions with a collision check between sprite versus sprite. So you'd say sprite 0 colliding with sprite 1. Well, that's this ship colliding with that bullet, essentially. So you would want another sprite, and you can edit the same set. You can go in here and you can make an enemy of some kind. That's my amazing looking enemy ship, right? Let's do some little shapes like that. Right, there's my little tiny enemy ship. I'm just going to move it to center and then close that. So you would add a sprite node, or just clone one of these. Just control drag. It's easier than trying to find it. You're already in that sprite set. You just want to choose the one you want. That's that one. So choose that sprite 2, because Commodore can only have 8 sprites at a time sensibly. You can do all sorts of interrupts to get more, but yeah, if you want to ask anything about C64 Michigan, I recommend asking Arlasoft. He's a genius and has coded some amazing games in pure assembler. Arlasoft actually joined the Discord recently, which I'm grateful of, like somebody with knowledge, but I also feel a wee bit intimidated by people joining. I'm just like, okay, they know their stuff, and now I'm going to be sort of put under judgment, so to speak. But I'm kind of like trying to come in at a beginner intermediate mindset approach to this, not, pure someone who knows everything. I want to be learning along with you guys, and you guys learning along with me things, but I'm getting more advanced, right? I'm learning stuff and I'm enjoying it. I'm getting these books as well. I got Jim Butterfield's book on assembly. I'll give you a link to that. It's worthwhile checking out. Again, feel free to join the Discord. There'll be links on the itch page. 6502 stuff. Yeah, there's loads of info in here. Like, I've got loads of channels, but there's this PDF version of that book. Where is it? Yes, expanded version. This one. And since it's a PDF, you can look at it on it through your phone quite easily. But I recommend reading that. It's great. It's really good. It's like a Bible, and everyone swears by it as well. So I can't be wrong in saying that. Where's the chat going? Where's the chat going? There you go. You had the Ronnie Zacks 6502 book. I got another recent ones, like how to develop a 8-bit game, and they're kind of thinner books with a little character, and I forget the name of them, and I don't know where they are because we moved house recently and everything's gone away, but I'd love to dig into them. This also has scrolling as well, horizontal scrolling. I don't have very many examples of it because I might be happy with it, but I feel like I could be happier with it. The reason I'm not happy with the scroller is because it can't handle everything I want to throw at it, like full color character map scrolling, right? And that's actually not a sensible thing. If you've ever played Commodore 64 games and really analysed them, they don't use very many colours inside a scrolling palette for a reason. They tend to be sort of sectioned, because moving colour RAM and character RAM at the same time uses up a lot of raster time, and there's very little time for anything else, so it ends up, it eats into the frame rate. You can do it, right, but it's just it's at some sort of expense, and I've noticed like glitching and stuff with it. But if you run that stuff through the Ultimate, it's like butter. Doesn't care, because the CPU set to 4 megahertz or higher, it just sort of flies through this stuff. When you use opcodes, is it possible to make the top bar for every single opcode thinner, maybe without a name for every opcode? Oh, I see. Yeah, no, it is quite chunky, isn't it? It's quite chunky. Let me just reset everything. So, yeah, I mean, they could get away with being like just the instruction. And, you know, it could say here, like, load the accumulator immediate mode. These are like still in their kind of primal form, to be honest. I don't see why not. There's nothing to stop me making them one block less. I mean, they can still have the header, because the header's the kind of dragging point. Like, you can't drag from here. A lot of things are reliant on the header, so I can't really get rid of the header. Also, like, the bytes are admitted in the header, but I can definitely make them less. I can do that right now. See how that looks. Maybe second. I will do that right now. In fact, I won't, because I think I capped it at that for a reason, and it will affect other stuff. I won't do that right now. But yeah, I'll look into that. I'm just worried that it's going to have a knock-on effect with other things. But yeah, making it smaller and all that was one of the reasons I did the zoom level thing, was for that reason. Like, you can zoom right up and see it in detail, and there'll be bigger buttons, and there'll be like a what does this mean button. What does it do? So if you did have like LDA immediate mode, it would say, it'll be a button here. Like, when you zoom right in, it would be like a little hat or something, or a question mark. Click it and it would come up. Load accumulator does this, you know, it takes this many cycles and bytes. Here's a visual example of it. A receives the value 0, and so on. Loads of cool eye candy, make it more easy to learn, and all that good stuff. But you can zoom right out, like, and everything gets smaller anyway, and you get to the point where you're just seeing the macros, and then all this cluster fest of stuff, and then it's just the comments that you see. I might make that a bit clearer as well, make them sort of become little pointers so they don't clash, and then you can sort of zoom into it, then you can see the comment. I think you can also double click. Yeah, double click will let you zoom in. Yeah, anyway, back to this. I really need to update the window size being remembered. I know 68K, but not 6502. I did try and learn in the 80s. I was thinking of doing Amiga at some point, like the same idea, because I like the idea of coding on Amiga. I even like introduced like a move memory feature for Dev Machine, because like everyone always complained that C64 never had a move mnemonic like Amiga has. I've never coded on Amiga, but I have seen their four-letter mnemonics, and it just looks kind of more advanced and interesting. And people say that Amiga or 68K is like God's own assembly language, as quoted by some big coders out there. So yeah, I might have to cover that. Had the Rodney Zaks 6502 book. Oh, yeah, okay. Feel free to share a link if you wanted. Tried to learn 6502 in the Z80 in the past, but I'm just too dumb. It's hard. It's hard to learn assembly. I've got my Ultimate, love the machine. Yeah, it's great. I've got mine here. It feels like cheating a wee bit, you know. It's like a wee bit kind of, I'm cheating, but it's the future of the past. That, you know, that's that term that Perifractic coins out, retro future or future retro. Definitely, it's a good balance because it does everything the original computer does. It still stays within the limitations through that FPGA or whatever, right? It's still, the thing with FPGAs, it's kind of like, well, they're kind of like a what do you call them? It's like one of those creatures that morphs. Oh man, lose my head. It's like an alien creature that morphs. Forget the name of them. Like they can pretend to imitate anything, right? So you can basically just turn the Commodore into anything and make it do whatever you want, right? That's not really the point. The point is like now you can sort of push things a bit more. So yeah, I'm doing the same with the dev tool. You know, I'm manipulating what the machine code is and other things, morphing it. I think there's a word for it. Like I'm imitating code through these nodes and making it easier for people and giving you more power and it, you know, still in a sense of enjoyment, but still a sense of learning something. Yeah, using modern tools to develop, no machines, you know. You know, I was even thinking of, this is going to be like Inception for you. So I've basically used Game Maker, which is built off C or whatever, right? So, which is built off binary. You know, binary to C to Game Maker to Dev Machine. And then what I was thinking of is making Dev Machine to make a Commodore 64 engine within a Commodore 64 because you can, like, through the Ultimate at least, because you can unlock the extra RAM and put a big chunk in there for the actual engine and just have it be there. That would be next level stuff. And built in like SID editor, like music editing, sound effects, just all there, exactly as you would expect it. Because it's very difficult for me to make like a SID tool. I realise like the only way I can make a SID tool is to make build one for for running on a Commodore. Then it makes your SID files, and you could essentially get those back out from an Ultimate. I think you could. Could you? Save them to a disk, I suppose. To a virtual disk. Yeah, I think you could. I mean, I haven't even scratched the surface of what you can do in that yet, but it just feels like the perfect union between old and new, and the way we sort of love the whole 8-bit aesthetic, like pixel art, is just never go away. Starting to not like big AAA games now because they're just all starting to just sing the same hymn sheet. It's like, okay, another realistic game. I mean, there's some nice games like Cyberpunk or Ghost of Tsushima, God of War, and you know, just games that just do it well, right? Have you tried Vision Basic for C64? What's that? I've not seen this. Harold, a cat and a mouse game I never finished, but okay. Firstly, hold on to something in case you faint. It is the end result of something I started 20 years ago. Okay. It's basic on steroids. It's basic someone should have whipped up long ago. Okay, interesting. I just worry that it uses up a lot of memory. What's the catch? Well, you need at least 25k of extra RAM. Yeah. That's why they've not made basic. I mean, what they should have done with Commodore is not have a basic ROM inside the actual 64k. They should have had a separate 256k or whatever. That's quite a lot of RAM that you need, you know, compared to the 64k that it's got. But they would come in a separate cartridge or a disc or something. Like I had Zeus emulator. I don't know, Zeus assembler. I never really picked it up, but it's just a learning curve. What was there was a basic, oh yes, if you run the Commodore 64 Ultimate, it's 64 megahertz mode, and you make a basic game, you literally have an assembly, speed, yeah, literally have assembly speed, which I did a little test with Dev Machine, just changing the background border color, like black, white, black, white, black, white. I mean, I'll show you what I mean. So if you do like, I'll clear that, and I'll just do a loop, A, J, LDA 0, SDA DO2, copy those, set that to 1, right? So it's just going to do that without any V-weight, right? Just V-weight will make the whole border flash and sync, right? But this will just do it as fast as it can do it, right? So F5, and then you'll see that in Vice going crazy, right? If you do Alt-P, you can pause that. So you see this is the time it's basically taken to change. So it's doing that and changing, doing that, changing, doing that, changing, right? So that's how much cycle time it's taken of the raster to do that change, right? And if you do that in an Ultimate, the code is basically the same. You just let's do a soft reset. In basic, you would do poke 53280, 20 poke 53281, 80,1, and 30 go to 10. And in basic, obviously it takes that much time. Like, that's like not even like little bits of a scan line. That's like lots of scan lines, because it's interpreting this stuff. It's going, oh, what's this byte mean? Okay. Oh, I need to pass all these numbers. Oh, that's poke. Okay. Right, I need to send this to the accumulator and blah, blah, blah. Right, the time it's thought all that through, it's like, now it's just changed to 1. It's like, oh, okay, I need to do this. Oh, I need to do this again. So it's basically taken that much of it's like half of the whole raster time. Now, if you run that at 64 megahertz, you'll literally get the same as the machine code version. So, fun fact. And that's pretty cool that you can program in BASIC as fast as native machine code, because if you run machine code at 64 megahertz, then yeah. If you ever tried the leaderboard on a C64 Ultimate, where it draws the screens and you set it to like anything higher than 4 megahertz, it just goes psh, 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 and it's like done. Or Last Ninja, where it populates the scenes with the little graphics, like it's fetching bits of bitmap and building it up, and that takes a couple of seconds. If you put it in 4 megahertz or higher, it just goes psh, done. It's a different game, but I quite like the way that builds scenes up. Or Stunt Car Racer, where it's doing vector graphics, and it's all right. It runs at a decent speed. It's good enough to sort of manage to play, but you set that anything higher than 4 megahertz, or if I think the sweet spot is like 2 or 3, because 4 it can just go too fast, especially when you're driving. It already runs at a good pace for what it is. AAA games this year have started to look the same. No variety. Yeah, I was done with AAA when Ghost of Tsushima 1 came out. I was like, okay, I'm kind of happy now. I've not even played the whole game through. I'm kind of like a big open world game like Skyrim, but in Japan, is freaking awesome to me, and I can't really think of anything else better than that. And I'm just like, well, that's all I ever kind of wanted in a game. Sure, I've got a racing game that I like what did I play? Gran Turismo freaking 10 or something. I don't know what number it's at now. It's like, but once you've sort of played them and they're all realistic. I play Project Cars, the go-karts. It's great in VR. Pure motion sickness. But I'm kind of like, I've just started buying all the retro stuff again, that I had when I was growing up, because I miss all that. I got an Amiga 1200, got myself a Dreamcast, a GameCube, a bunch of games, got Sensible Soccer, Cannon Fodder for the Amiga, Settlers, just stuff that I love, and I'm just going back in time now because that's where I could play these games forever. You use the REU. You have REU in the Ultimate, yeah. I'm going to enable, bring in a node to enable REU and set the what you want, memory stuff. Vision Basics complex to machine. The Vision Basic compiled to machine code. Yeah, of course. Yeah, it does because it's just poking instead of interpreting, right? So it compiles. Native Basic doesn't compile; it interprets as it sort of is reading it and doing it, reading it and doing it instead of process, execute, which is what compile is, I suppose. If Basic was a compiler, that might run a bit faster, but it would just take so much memory up just to work out what it was doing, and that's why it's slow, because it's kind of ditching stuff as it's read it. You have a PS5, quite frankly, still have more fun playing Spectrum. I bought a PS5 second hand from eBay for 200 quid with some new nice controllers for it, and it's still in the box. I bought what was the Shadows one? Assassin's Creed Shadows Collector's Edition, still in the box. I just started collecting stuff and not really playing them, just like I'll just have it, just to have it as an achievement thing, and my whole kind of life's just turned into achievements of having a thing. Got bloody cool. This was probably the buy of the year for me. I'm not endorsed or anything like that, so I should get some sort of commission for this, but this is such a nice keyboard. I like it. Some people don't like it, but I quite like how clickety-clackety it is, and it looks like a Commodore 64. It's from 8-Bit Do, and they do these nice keyboards. I'm waiting on the little numerical keypad that comes with it, sort of magnetizes to the side. But that's like, this is all nostalgia to me now. Like, it's just a big blur of when we were younger and now, and I think that's what the way the world sort of is, where at least with our generation, is we really like the stuff we grew up with, and we're kind of amalgamating it into our life these days. You have more fun playing the Spectrum C64 games, yeah, exactly. There's just games that I'll go back to with the Commodore, like see if I can play them any better. Like Last Ninja, I've played their collection to death because I was doing a lot of testing for it, and I'm so done with Last Ninja, man. Like, I played that game so many times. I must have played it like every year in my life, right up to now. So I've played that game for, was it the 40 years? It's going to be 40 years next year, that game. And I played that way too much. Very inspired to do a kind of remake with it or something. And one of the things I put in a dev machine was this, the move bitmap block is essentially how they would get bits of bitmap and build up a scene. So that's why I wanted that. And eventually this could be an engine that could make a Ninja 4 game. That would be pretty cool with expansions and for the Ultimate. But who's to say what could happen? But my focus is on this is just to make it work for all sorts of games, and that's that. Do I have a Commodore PET? No, I've seen some of the Zap Live thing, but or an SS67. They're pretty cool. I do kind of want one of them. The PET's a bit big, but it'd be nice just to have as a kind of a museum piece in my house, sort of thing, and the green screen, whatever, the green writing, that'd be kind of cool. So would that work with isometric, like head over heels? Yes. So I already did a file. Is it called Ninja? No, I don't know where I'll find that. I think it might be in my laptop, or isometric test. Let's see what I've got here. So I do all these tests all the time, different stuff. Side scroll, I don't think it's here. Yeah, it's far from ready yet anyway, because there's other things that Last Ninja did was sprite masking. If to make it look you were behind something, um, it had to work out what bits of the sprite not to show based on, you know, a rock in front of it or whatever it might be, or if, you know, to make it look like it went behind the rock, it just minused away the sprite in bits. But you can do that quite easy. So I've got, let me reset this. There's a game I'm actually want to make with this, which is inspired by Bloodsport, and it's going to be called Kumite. And I've already done some bitmaps for it. Where's my bitmaps? Yeah. So that's under KLA. No, it's not under there. Kumite. Source files, arena, dojo, dojo KLA. So yeah, this is the final battle one. Let me see if I can look at the other one. Dojo. This is the plain one when they all start, and then I had sprites and all that set up as well. So, so that's that, and it's isometric. It's the 4:1 pixel sort of ratio, same as Last Ninja, and yeah, it's gonna be a fighting game. Amazing music, but I just don't get on with the isometric games. Yeah, it's the joystick angle, you know, it's a bit fiddly. What I'm gonna do with this is just, you know, you just button bash, and it just does moves, and you just unlock moves. Like you train your dude, and you get a new move, but you just have fun button bashing. And he just pulls off the moves. I mean, games are meant to be enjoyable, no freaking joystick wrangle, right? And like, oh, I can't make him do what I want to do. I can't enjoy this game. I hate it. Throw it down, you know, like, oh, it gets such high acclaim, but I can't play the fucking thing. There's no point in making a game where you can't play. It's just, it needs to be fun first. That's what I think. Especially for like the user side. You get the other purists that say, you know, I want it to be a challenge. You know, but it's silly. That game had way too many different jump directions to make it playable. You know, people getting stuck at a river in the first level and just, you know, throwing away the whole game for that. I mean, people would get good at that, like me. Not bragging or anything, but just I seen other people being good at it, so I was just like, I could do that, and it, you know, took a long time, but I managed to figure it out. So yeah, I've got like sprites and stuff as well for this. So I don't know if they'll import arena sprites, Fred docs. What's this? Hey! So I do actually have sprites that started. Yeah. So these are made up of 2 multicolor. In fact, they would be made up of 3, I think. Yeah, like for kicks. So I just distinctly wanted to make them made up of 3 sprites instead of that's why he's the referee guy. These would be like fighters. So that'd be Frank Dukes or whatever. Fred Ducks, I think it was calling. I was changing all the names around as you do for copyright, avoiding copyright infringement. So yeah, they're pretty good. I actually advanced one of them a bit more. I don't know if he's animated, so let's do another one. It's just moaning about the location. I'll just change it for the sake of it. Right. Oops. Import Fred. So yeah, this was just me testing a little animation, and if you do A and D, you can advance the frames. And this all came from my other tool, Spread64. I don't know if anyone knows about that. I never really forced it down people's throats the way I'm advertising this tool, but I took all my code out of that and threw into this and advanced it a bit, done more stuff. But I basically use Spread64 to make these sprites, and it's great because it does overlay stuff. So if I wanted to do like an outline overlay of this guy, it's easier. Just go to layer 1 and let's say it was a black outline. In fact, let's go for brown because we're using black already. Choose that sprite, or in fact I choose base here, layer 1, composition mode on, which means I'll see everything in that layer. I need to place that down as well, and that needs to be high res. And now I can, there you go, I can draw directly on top of them like that, little eyes and stuff. Yay! It's goofy. Oh, there's no undo. There's no undo in the sprite editor yet, guys. Sorry. That'll come. Nipples. So you can kind of layer up your sprites. You can also expand. So you see it looks a bit silly now, but if I, oh yeah, you can't really draw this way so easy. I should have done that a bit differently, but you can also like expand stuff vertically. So what I tend to do is like have a high res color one and expand it, then draw around it. In fact, I do have an example of that. There's a ninja that I was making, but I don't know if he's on this. Okay, it's just going to complain about overlaps because they're the same address, but that's fine. You would change those. Where's my ninja? Do I have? Here somewhere. Oh yeah, I've got another game that I was working on. Myths. I'll show this one actually. Yeah, that's a good one to show. So I've got a little dude and a little zappy woman there. She's made of 2. He's made of like 4. Although I've just sort of recycled a few bits of them. So you see there's like a clobber thing and then blood splat. That's good fun to make. I'm trying to find my ninja guy. I'm sure he's on a laptop. Let's go back and see if it's here. Graphics. Yeah. I'll fish that out for the next one. So you see it does these like conflicts, which is kind of nice, and you can say, okay, you know, ignore it. It tells you that it's a clash between sprite set 3 and sprite set 2. And you basically go, okay, that's these. Oops, I put in the wrong address. Okay, I'll change that to something else. Right. Oh, it's clashing with that. It's in the Vic Bank. Okay, put it somewhere else. If you know how the Commodore 64 works as well, like everything needs to be in the same Vic Bank that you see. So your bitmap and your sprites and stuff. You can right click these just to get rid of them anyway. Let's see. Listen to amazing music, but I just don't go on with the ice. Yep, they look great. Thank you. Do you know some sites where you can find sprites for free? For free use, I'm not good to draw. Well, one of the things that I was going to do as well was to make up libraries of sprites. Once I'm done with all this, I'll make up libraries of sprites that you just import the way you saw me import. Because there's not a lot of, well, I guess you can go to Spriter's resource, right? Spriter's resource, right? I don't recommend ripping off people's sprites. I recommend finding packs that you buy, right, to support someone. But if you want to learn, I would say, right, rip it off, but learn from it and change it and make it yours. Like, don't be lazy. No, don't not learn something. In other words, but the only thing with these is like it's hard to find something that's really compatible. I think you've got Commodore here somewhere. Other systems. It takes time to get good at stuff, but you need to start somewhere, and you'll start crap, right? And you'll be crap for a while. We've got some sprites there. I don't know what format I'll get these as. See, sometimes the format's not very great. See, like this, it doesn't make much sense. I'll see, can I download it? What does it give me? PNG file, which is useless for me. Right. they're PNGs with all this weird purple background. I can't use them. You know, I can't extract that stuff. It needs to be a binary file. So this resource might be good, but it's not. And yeah, they're all in these purple backgrounds. You would have to put it into a sprite and then find a plugin to convert it, and it might not be perfect. So it's, you know, more hassle. But you can look at how they're done. You know, analyze the frames, look at kind of walk cycles, and sort of figure out, you know, that. You'll never get everything right first time. You'll go back and you'll refine it, and you'll go, oh, there's a glitch there, that can be better. You can't do it right first time. Even me, I'm pretty experienced with graphics, but if I try and make a sprite, yeah, I've released some games. Yeah, I've released a couple of VR games with a company, a couple of indie games with some indie companies. Nothing worth mentioning. And I've released a couple of Commodore 64 games. I've done graphics for Amiga game. It's nothing, again, nothing big. But if you go to Bitmap Soft, and through this tool, not through this tool is new. So nothing through Game Dev Machine. It's only 4 months in development. But I made, oh yeah, Lost Souls is coming soon. So I did the box art for this was my thing there. Did I do a loader bitmap? I don't think so. Yeah, I did this background. That's what I do. Digital stuff. I've not done a whole game by myself. I've helped contribute to some. So this one here, I did the box art for this, and the loader bitmap I did for that years ago, well, 2 years ago. And my first game I worked with was Apeshit. I did the box art for that, and the background graphics, the sprites, the bananas, everything graphic wise for this. It was just me and 2 other guys from Megastyle. So yeah, I did the loader bitmap. It's a funny game called Apeshit. I actually have it somewhere dotted about. So I've done a few games here and there, nothing massive. I've never released my own games, have I? I've been working on a few, but I do a lot of client work, so it kind of keeps me busy. Eventually I'll do some games with this. Thank you. So yeah, I'm looking to make graphics. I was going to show a little example of making a sprite up whilst we're here, because sprites are just the coolest thing. So how I would do a sprite, I really need to fix that other bug as well. Composition mode is on, that's why. So head, and if it's a run, I always start with like contacts. They call it contacts when you like touch the ground, right? You can do like the line tool here, actually, click and click. I don't like the way that works, to be fair, but get used to it. It's a shame you can only use like one color for sprites. It would be good to make maybe a non-committed version of the like a sketch or whatever behind it. That might be a nice feature. Put a kind of image behind it so you can get a feel for it first. But things like runs, you start with the most extreme poses and do like passing poses, or you can copy and paste these, and you move them up a bit, and then that leg is going to touch the ground. This is going to be passing through. Oh, the lines went off. I usually just kind of do that sort of thing, and you can go there and then place that one down, and then advance to the next frame. So you add a new frame, and then put that down. And you can do A and D to sort of go between, and then start to sort of refine stuff. How do you get the idea for the dev tool? how did I get the idea for it? It started with, let me just save this. Let's save it as something, because I was going to show you. It's called a sprite demo. Show you how this all began. It was kind of like, at first it was an experiment, right? I was just wanting to see if I could get a bit of code to run through Game Maker to turn it into a PRG file to drop into a Commodore 64 Vice, and it was a simple thing like change the background color, and it made me, and I've kept it here as a kind of relic of the past. Where was it? C64 new program. Where's it going? Program. No, it's not that one. What's the object called? Assemble. This was it. It was one object with just this script, and it was literally that. It was, oh, that's what it was, a clear screen, and a border setter, and it basically parsed all this into was it? Where's the function? P-save it. I think the function's gone now because I can see it's not. Yeah, it's not lit up. It's gone. It's an old one, but it would basically parse all this into a binary format and then just put a PRG at the end of it. So it's just done like a binary buffer. And it was ever since I discovered buffers, I was making a conversion tool, which you can find as well. I'll show you that. So it's kind of like I'm going way back here, right? Just bear with me. There's a lot to tell. If I switch my account here to my other one, I don't necessarily have to actually. I can just find it. C64 bitmap fixer or freelance. Right. So it started with this tool, which I've since improved. Right. I will download it. You can download this free right now if you want. Like, it's a free tool. And I'll just take the zip. Right, so I need to extract. So this tool just lets you import an image, and this was one of the first things I'd ever done in terms of like a Commodore 64 sort of thing. Right, so you basically load an image, whatever it might be. Let's see what I've got. Downloads anything. I've got loads of daft images everywhere, but okay, there's a picture of a box and a chair. That's what I was selling. I was selling Commodores. Okay, so it will digitize it, and then it will turn it into Commodore colors, and then you can kind of see the error map and toggle between it. You can see the blocks in here. But basically I had to figure out how to use buffers to get data into binary, into like a good binary format. And ever since then I've been like, oh, buffers are great. Buffers are fast. I can save a binary file. It's like lightning fast on modern machines. It's like, you know, just really fast. And I just wanted to do something with that knowledge. You know, I know how buffers work, and surfaces are like graphic versions of buffers in Game Maker at least, and it's just all binary format. And I learned like binary commands, binary logic, and pushing the bits into, you know, different directions and stuff. And because I use a lot of Unreal Engine, if you look at my channel, it is flooded with like tutorials, because I used to teach as well. I used to teach Unreal Engine and everything. Why is it doing that? Right. YouTube Studio. If you go to my content, there's some bajillion videos in here, and it will just go on forever. 704 videos, and a lot of it, if you go way back, there's a lot of dev machine stuff. A lot of there's my Kumite. When I was making this in Game Maker, and that's one of the inspirations was I wanted to make it actually on a Commodore 64. That's one of the reasons for it as well. This was another thing, little funky ninja guy. A lot of these are unlisted, but I'll share these in the Discord at some point. I just don't want people to get too hyped about what I'm making, because it just puts too much pressure on me. A lot of Last Ninja stuff, a lot of playing the games, and then like using Unity, like there's some making CityCat, Unreal Engine stuff, modeling, loads of stuff for clients as well, modeling stuff, shaders. Basically, I do a lot of like Unreal Engine and art to, cut it down into the most significant sort of reason. And I just wanted to bring that kind of nice UI UX thing to making Commodore games instead of it being text. So let's see what's next. So that's, how I got the idea was just basically it was a lot of things. It was like, okay, that works. This can do it. I can do it. I can make something. I can make a node. Oh, I can just make all the opcodes. I'll just make buttons for all the opcodes. Right, I'll drag them in. I need to connect them up somehow. I'll make them stack. Right, just like they'll read like code, like just top to bottom. Cool. Right, I'll make it do this same routine, and more and more efficient. I'll turn it into a macro. Make so you can just print. That's now just a macro. Now, like that whole function you can do quite easily. There's a macro to wipe the screen. You can set the border. You can get it to print something. Well, it just evolved, and it didn't take long for me to work that out. So it became a whole different system. There's a script called the compile chain, which is like every single node is in there. And if you saw this thing, you'd be like, okay, that doesn't make any sense to me as a machine coder or whatever. But it's a kind of like hybrid between Game Maker and machine code. It uses arrays and structs, or arrays of arrays. Essentially a struct. So things like, you just put in a print node, and now that clears the screen, and you can get it to say something as well. Views. Right, clear screen, do it top center. RTS back to basic, so I can type stuff. F1, don't need them. It's already executed, but there you go. Hi there, viewers. Back to basic. So the RTS brings you back to basic. If you don't want that, you put in a loop to hold it in place until you start putting code in there. So it's just going to cycle here. It's basically going to hold where it is. Jump back to that label, jump back to that label, jump back. It's like 10 go to 10 do nothing, 20 go to 10. Right, that's what it's like. So now it's just held. And you can do Alt-H, and you'll see if I do, I don't have to do it, but it says basically 0841. Right, if I go back here, and I press I, 0841, it's just sitting there. So, yeah, it's evolved a lot. Let's see if I can find a pretty old version, just to show you, like, where it sort of came from. And there is, I've kept every single version of this. Every time I do something, I make a version change locally. I don't use source control. Don't trust it. If I save this, I'll save that. Open project. So far back does this go? Oh yeah, I've got stuff archived as well. Let's go back to, these are all 0.99s. These are all recent. What about export? It's archived. Yeah, but I'm doing the wrong format. Yeah, archive the exports. .63.8. That's not that old. I think I've threw them all into another drive somewhere. But I'll go back to, let's see. What's the oldest one I've got here? Yeah, they're all 0.99 though. They're all version 99 point something. They're not that old. Let's see if I can find a really, really old one. Or an old video or something. C64. Dev machine, export, archive. This goes on a bit. Okay, yeah, still going. So I do throw a lot of stuff up here. Got like a 2 terabyte G drive, so there we go. This is like way back. Just getting Vice to run as well. Sid and Vic stuff. A Sid player. This one's quite interesting. Let me download that one. A very early version of Dev Machine. Okay, this was the expand collapse test where just you see how buggy this stuff is. Extra opcodes. Right, I'll just look at those ones. Yeah, I mean you can see all the achievements that I was getting stuff to work. Pretty rapidly as well. I was working on this insanely, and I've actually damaged my eyes from too much screen time. So let me just move that there. So yeah, the idea has sort of evolved. It's almost like every time I do something, I'm like, oh, that'd be good. Oh, this would be good. And it's just sort of spiraled out of control. Downloads. These are all GameMaker import files. So import project. So this one is one of the first ones. Put that in core. Save that there. Oh, it's so tiny file. So it's just let's see. Yeah, this is where I'm starting to make up like opcode functions, and this is an older system. I changed it from this where it was just yeah. You'll see, right? And I think this plays music. Oh, what's it doing? Oh yeah, you used to have to pick your SID. So this just basically just ran, and it was waiting for me to pick a SID. Okay. That's gone so far, right? Commando, that's what I would choose. And it was just a SID player. Yeah, that's right. That was an achievement. That took me about a week and a half to get that to work. Now I'm just firing stuff out on a daily basis because I know what I'm doing now, but that was painful. And then I made up something where you could sort of press a key and it played through every track, and there's loads of sound effects with that one. It's really good Rob Hubbard stuff. Let's import another one. So this is a very, very early version. Let's just pop that there. Wow. Let's see, what's it got? What's it got that I've not got now, I wonder? Change screen size. The memory bar, it's all there. It's a very older looking system. 1, 2, 3, is that right? No. Oh, there wasn't even any pages. That was it. That was... Oh, and it's broken as well. Let's run it again, see if I can get something to work. A broken version. Nice. 3 macros. It's literally bare bones. So yeah, and everything's borked as well as a stuffed version. Let's try one more time, see if I can get something to spawn. This obviously I hadn't quite finished it yet. Yeah, what was it moaning about? Oh, the collapse all macros. Yeah, so that's why I gave up with the whole collapse thing. I think I must have just stripped it out and thought, yeah, I'm not gonna work on that. Let's have a look at the other one then. Version 19? Was another one 32? Is this an older one then? Yeah, this is the one I remember. Yay, stuff works. I quite like this. Oh, there's no zoom. Oh, there's a zoom, but there's no pan. Unless it's... Oh, it's right click. Okay. So it used to be right click to pan. And I had this nice little grid in the background, which I still kind of quite like. Feels a bit more... Something about this style that I quite like. I might try and bring that back. It's very clinical, but it was just like draw box, draw text. It wasn't any fancy graphics. So there's no double right click. You just dragged it off. And then, is there any cleanup? F1, yeah, F1 just got rid. There's no particle effect. They're all things that added. Like you can see at least the cycle count and stuff. You can clear this. Yeah, it's so weird that, you know, I'm just doing it through muscle memory now. Let's see if I can make a routine address label. Yes, that works. And you can click here and it would do a build and run, which is kind of nice. Instead of up here, it would do it from there. All works the same. There's no shortcut keys for my addresses and jumps, which was really nice. Just ASCII data. Oh yeah, you used to have to connect stuff up, if I remember right. Where's my macros? Oh, they're down here. Fucking hell, stuff changes a lot. You would bring that in. Oh no, that's the same thing. Okay, that's a bit dumb. Clean up button's not working. Or the F1 wasn't working. Sound effects data. Binary file. Yeah, it's just changed so much since that. Stuff get reworked a lot. What does it want to do? Just a loop with a jump. Jump to... Oh yeah, it doesn't give you the list. You'd have to type in the name of it, which was cumbersome. Let's just do an ink absolute. If I can find it, ink absolute DO2. So that's just going to increase what's inside what the border's already set as. It will just increase it, and there's no V weight. This will just do a multicolored border, like so. But these were all like parts of the achievements, like just getting this stuff, and like there's way more than that now. That's not even all of them. So it just evolved. Just the more I did, the more I wanted to do. Did a basic. I did set up a basic multiplex macro sprite, V-weight macro sprite, just to test to see if it would work. Yeah, it should. It should. You can do V-weight or you can do interrupt requests for that. I mean, I made a video of me doing a interrupt version of it, but I've not touched the interrupt stuff in a long time. I'm pretty sure they should still work. Yeah, you can do it through V-weight. You can sort of time it. You move the sprite. That's what you do. You make it move to where you want it, so you can make it look like there's more. So if I'll load up my little sprite again. Load files, devs, sprite demo. Right. So yeah, I'll do what you're talking about. Set sprite. So a single sprite, remember Commodore can only do 8 without them, starting to flicker at each other, fighting for dominance. So these set them up and show them, but you don't want to kind of do that. You want to use enablers, or you want to move it essentially. So you set it up, it's already going to be in that position, and you would basically move him and move him back. So I'll keep him where he is. I do a V wait, Alt V, and give you a shortcut for a V wait, and then whatever line that is, I don't know, I'm just need to guess at it. I'll do 90. Oh, $90, and then move them, which is move, move him 60 on Y. I can only move 15. Oh, that's it's more of a move speed. Well, I would set his position then, which you can do through the set bar. Look up hardware, sprite position, sprite 0Y. What is he at? I'll do decimal 128, 180. Right, so he's going to move to there. I need that to be a loop. Just get rid of the other stuff. Jump back. So he's going to move down. He needs to move back up after it. So V wait to line, and it doesn't really matter, 255, because it'll be out the screen by that point. In fact, I'll do 240 to be safe, and then move them back to 128. Don't know if it'll work, because I don't know if I get my positions right. But that's essentially, is that essentially what you mean, isn't it? That should in theory work. Let's see. So the V wait is just waiting till the raster hits a certain line. So it'll kind of go away until it gets to there, and move the sprite. Yeah, setting it through this, and this is a loop. I don't know. It should work. If it doesn't, I'll be surprised. There we go. Multiplex, man. And you can move them all the same. So you can basically say a move node sprite 0, because he is just sprite 0. If you moved him to a frame, yeah, don't use another macro sprite, because the macro sprite inside a loop is essentially doing everything inside that. It's doing that, routine again and again. It only needs to be set up once. It's loading the data or setting the pointer. Like there's a lot of redundant stuff for a loop. I guess it doesn't really matter, but if you want to move it, because this is going to hard set the positions, right? So if that was in a loop, you couldn't move it the way I just did. I'm going to enable the 9th bit. Let's move it vertically so you can see what will happen. It will start to sort of tear wherever we set the raster lines. It'll kind of go nuts. Oh, why is it not moving? Why is it not moving up and down? Oh, because I'm hard setting the Y position. See, just exactly that, right? I can actually do a relative by 1. Oh yeah, I'll do relative by 1. And this is just going to mess up. I'm only moving, I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't know what. We'll see what happens. He'll come back at some point. Maybe come through the top or something. Where have you gone? Yeah, I'm ballsed up. Let's turn that off. Let's make this 4. And let's make this -2 relative as well. Oh, relative, negative. That's how you do that. So I don't know. I'm trying random stuff now. It just helps me sort of visualize it. But yeah, it's just the 2 sprites, isn't it? I'm being dumb. That's not really it. That's not really it. I have to go back to what I was doing there. See if I can figure out. Yeah, I'm just moving them. Something to move them. Yeah, you could do. Because we're setting the var there, I think we can also do set var. Yeah, the same lookup. It's interesting. So sprite position, sprite y, offset by 1, relative. So they should both move down as well. And they should both move down, and then you'll see where the raster sort of fits. I think he just moved down a bit. Don't know why it's not moving completely. This is a loop. Because it's always getting set. Yeah, it's always getting set. Is there another way I could do that? It's basically setting this to 180. Yeah, I'm just fanning about. And you can also set the raster weight to a var. So you can really kind of do it all var based. That's kind of what you want. But yeah, I'm just mucking about. It was just an example, and now I've gone off on a tangent, as I usually do, start to make a mess of it. But that's all you need, right, to make a multiplex sprite. I guess you could animate that as well, right? So I'll put a little org in there. In fact, no, your animation is you set it up, right? So set up an animator, and frame, got a 2-frame animation here. So you basically do 0, 1 for sprite 0. You can also do like offsets. I wonder if that would work. I can make him move left at least, right? Enable 9th bit, so he wraps round, and it's asking me I'll do a loop. This is the delay, and that's what I need to call. So because this is my call loop, I do a j, look that up, and then yeah, I'm just animation update. Should I try and do like loads of them? See how many I can get. Let's clear the screen. Print. Pretty clear. I'll not do any text, just leave it like that. So there's 1 sprite. I somehow managed to fluke the numbers, but let's do raster weight 60. Set var. Okay, we'll start. Oh yeah, we can choose. Doesn't matter because we'll the first frame it will hit, we'll be setting it anyway. So I'll do 81. Trying to do like 21 apart, and then that'll be 202 or 81 all the same, and 102 here. Don't know. I'll see if that looks like 2 sprites close together. Don't know if it will be, but yeah. So I could go higher than that. Let me just make the border a different color so we can see. So I'll just do a set var here, because this sets the color. Oh no, I'll clear that. There we go. I'll not get black now. It'll just be the default blues of Commodore. Yeah, I've got loads of space. I think it's 20 something the top, because you've got the height of the borders part of your screen, right? So I'll just do 20, see where we end up. 20 plus 21 is 41. start at 41 for the next sprite, plus 21 the height of the sprite, 62. There's a wee bit out of it. Oh, they're kind of faster because the raster's higher up. It doesn't have to wait for much of the screen. So the more I do, the slower it would be. Let's do 28 plus 21 is 49. 49 plus 21 is 70. And let's get another ones in there then. The one is going to start at 70 plus 21 is 91. Um, 91 plus 21 is 92, 112. See how slow it goes as well, because all these little calls as the raster's running. It will slow it down because the raster's not smooth. It's time to do stuff. I mean, I guess that's normal anyway. Let's see, 112, 112 plus 21 is 133. Let's just see how that looks. Kind of curious. Oh, look, flickering. Because you need, I think you need a bit of space between them. Just to help, because the raster's not able to be stable. So let's do increase that by 150. 50. Increase that by 2. Oh, I've got this joystick mapped to the freaking number pad, so every time I touch it, numbers fly up. Add 3 to this one. 3. Add 3 to that one. Add 4 to that one. Yeah, add 5 to that one then. 1, 3, 8. Okay, that might be better. I think you need an extra line. Yeah, it's not so stable. You can kind of see what's happening as he's drawn. You get the idea. If you run that on a Commodore Ultimate, it might be the same. Like even if you set the speed higher, it might be a similar thing. I think my numbers are off, to be honest, but yeah, you can see I got like 4 sprites more or less working. Yeah, you could do it that way. You can do it that way. I think there's obviously a bit of time used for these as well. Like it takes up a number of cycles, and it might actually intervene when the sprite's changing. Yeah, a decent example using VWeight. You can do the same for like the border. So if you do, you can do set var. You know what? I need to have set var on a shortcut key because it's quite a common thing. So I'll do lookup border, screen border. So you don't have to know the registers, it will tell you it, right? So it's a good way to learn your registers. You press X, you can toggle the hexadecimal and decimal, so you can start to learn what these registers are. I'm still picking up a few. Better than yours. Yeah, the first one was good. I liked that. I got that working first time. I was just lucky. So you can set the border here to whatever red. Oh, this is a little lookup table where you can sort of see what the values are for different colours. It's a handy legend. You don't really do anything with it. But maybe I'll do a little thing where you can click while the model's open. You just click here and it will just do that. That'd be nice. Yeah, you set your borders all the same. Doesn't matter if you do it above or below. I'll be consistent about it. 4 below 6. So you can see this will show you exactly where the raster's changing, which is a handy thing. And then it will wrap right back down round to the top after that. So it kind of goes through the bottom back to the top again, so it'll fill a bigger portion. But yeah, that's where the changes are. So my changes were probably off a bit. Who's going to win the race? It's a draw. Like it's kind of flickering as well. Like I've got the timing wrong somewhere. Maybe did I put a typo in? Oh yeah. Oh no, that's 250, 22. Anyway, that was fun. Scrollers. Want to see a scroller with a bitmap? Who would like to see a scroller with a bitmap with a SID tune? That way you can really show off your work. That's kind of was the prime example that I wanted to, like at some early stage I was like, okay, I need a bitmap and a SID playing in a text scroller, and that was like a month's work. I already had the SID working, to be fair, and I think I had the bitmap working, so it was just getting like text to scroll was a nightmare because that had to be done through an interrupt. And I realised I could just use, I had two interrupts. I had the SID interrupt, then I had the text having its own interrupt, and they were fighting with each other, and it was a mess. And then I thought, oh, I'll just, if a SID's there, just use its interrupt. So I figured that out. So let's go for it. Let's do a bitmap, and we'll make up our own stuff. Right, I'll show you how the bitmap stuff works. So bitmap, text scroll, requires SID, right? So that's what I was talking about. The text scroller uses a SID. So you don't even have to have a tune in it. It will just use a kind of fallback default, or it will use whatever first SID that finds in the assets without even having to set it, which is just great, right? It just does it. That's everything you need. You need an RTS as well, just so it will play. Right, we should just see hello world. Is that right? We should see just hello world. Yeah, and you can see there's little bits. That's just because we're in this bitmap mode in the borders. 38 column mode for the scroller. Smooth scroller, works really nicely. Best scroller ever, right? So that's all set up. Obviously, we want our border to be black, so I was to set var. I don't think you can do it through bitmap. Yeah, borders different. Set var border 0. Yeah, SID likes to be in the top before everything else. Let me just check that. Yeah, all good. We can get rid of, we press F1 to get rid of those. That's essentially, we've set everything up and we need to make a bitmap. Do you know they should be called panners? Scrolling is up and down, panning is left and right. Is it? I thought panning was all the way around. Pan. I mean, if you're talking about cameras, we could say zoom is dolly, couldn't we? And what was that like? There's different terms for cameras in it. Tracking and all that stuff. Yeah, but if you say, you don't say a horizontal panning game or a vertical scrolling, but you're right, a scroll opens like that. But a scroll could definitely open left to right as well. Do you call it a panner? You'd been silly. So am I. Yeah, that's fine. You were saying that in the 80s, yeah. It's a panner game. A panner up construction kit game. Panner up. Like it sounds good. Rolls off the tongue. Right, so yeah, I always make a bitmap up. I'll just start making something. So here you can do stuff. Circles, what will I make? A picture of something. We can import a picture as well. I can easily do that instead of drawing something, because drawing will take me ages. Let's see, I'll import screenshot of dev machine. Oh my gosh. Change the dither and all that stuff here as well. It's not the best picture. Has anyone got a picture that they want me to put in here? Any picture will do. Yeah, I'll let you guys interact and send. The first to send a picture gets to do the picture. You can do whatever you want. AI generate it for all I care. Fun, just for fun. And we'll just convert it just to save me time. This is all the fancy stuff for. You can do hue stuff. We can zoom right in. We can do dithers. We can change the dither to checker mode. Interlace. Adjust the offsets. Anyone got an image? Make something, generate it, find something. I'll throw it in here. Something maybe cartoony. And then Sid tune. I've got loads of Sid tunes, I suppose. I'll come back to this if anyone's. Oops. If anyone, I'll just do confirm import, and it does all the color clash cleanup as well. So that'll be the bitmap. Pick it. It's already in VicBank 1. That's where it's just the safest place to put your bitmap. It makes sense just to call that your graphics bank. VicBank 1 is your graphics bank. Sprites all go here. You get 80 sprites in there. I think you might get more because apparently this section here of color gets sent to D800, your color RAM. So you could load your sprites in and send them back to there later, I think. Picture of Trump. Okay. Do we really need more publicity for this guy? But okay, let's find a funny picture of Trump. Let me do it. Funny cartoon image. I'll just spit an image of Trump. Oh dear, that's a funny one. Let's go with that. Who's that? Is that supposed to be Ivanka? That's funny. Okay, yeah. Since it's a funny image, get rid of that WPB thing. Right. Bitmap import downloads. What? Date modified. Alright, that's it. Is that a big image or is it what's happening? Oh. Did not like it or what? I don't know. I didn't like the format. Didn't like Trump. I'm sorry. I don't know if that's just broken or I didn't like the format. A lot of dots in there, that's why. Oh, didn't like Trump. Trump broke it. Yep. Let's see. Oh, something not Trump. What's trending? What's a good trending thing? Backrooms. Backrooms. Yeah, I'll do a backrooms image. Oh, that's creepy. Yeah, that's a good one. So open image in the tab. See if it's good. Oh, your link didn't work. Oh, okay, it must just be a permissions thing or something. Let's just do this one. I don't know how to moderate activity. Community moderate. I don't know how to do that here yet, but I'll do that one anyway, just safe. Go to that, import downloads, this one. There we go. And then I can scale it a bit. Let's change the dither amount. You can go crazy with it. Change the contrast, brightness. Oh, that's kind of cool. Hue. Brightness, contrast, checker, release. I'll do that, confirm, and it already fixes the color clash, so I don't have to do it with it. So I'll escape that. It auto saves as well. If you're looking for where it auto saves to, it will be in the same folder as the program, which in my case, because I'm running it through Game Maker, will be in some temporary folder, but it'll be in the same folder. It will be called autosave. The folder will be called autosave, and it'll be in there. So you see, this is saved in this big, local app data thing for Game Maker, just miles away from the what you would expect. Music. So new asset, SID music, edit, import. Oh, yeah, I get a silly Benny Hill one. I'll not use that. SIDs. I've got ones that I made. Oh, you can play Commando. Do the Commando music. Oh, let's load at 5,000. Oh, that's not good. Because, where's the... Wait a minute. Just notice the bitmap's not actually populated the bar here, which is another bug. So I can't do Commando because my bitmap's at 4,000 as well, but it's not showing up here. It probably will when I save it, because a few little bugs here and there that's a wee bit annoying. Scroller demo. Sorry, I'm taking forever to do it. Can you control the picture settings in your running code? Excuse me, what? What? Are you crazy? What you want me to be able to do? What I just did there in Game Maker and on a Commodore, like a demo scene thing. I mean, yeah, I'll go for it. Be my guest. Yeah, I don't know exactly what you mean, but if you want me to be able to like change hue and saturation at runtime, that's like asking the Commodore 64 to have a shader, and it's like asking it to have a graphics card. So yeah, you can do it, because what you could do is you could get the colors that's in the color RAM and then have an algorithm to change them. So if you could detect green, you say, right, change all the greens to another color, but you're basically detecting what's in the memory and then swapping it out real time, which is expensive. You know, the calculation for each block. But again, if you run that through the Ultimate, all those the calculation stuff is what's expensive. But if you can run it through the Ultimate, anything above 4 megahertz, you know, it would be faster at working that out. And yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to, is a lot of these kind of capability things. I just hope that people aren't snobbish about it, and I think it should just be an awesome extension of what the Commodore 64 was. and is essentially, you know, we're capitalizing on a kind of really cool framework. Okay, let's see. Music. That's what I was going to do. Load music. I didn't want to load the. Yeah, I was going to do that. Load it back up. See, now it's showing up here. It's because I imported an image. It's a new feature, and I've not got it populating the memory bar yet. It would be there, but it's just not showing up. So if I tried to now load SID music and did that, where is it? SID's commando, and do that, it tells me I've got a conflict of interest. I can't really move the bitmap anywhere that would fit in nicely in a Vic bank. I tried 8000, but the character ROM uses up a chunk, so you'd only see half of it, and that puzzled me for ages. I was like, why can I only see half of it? Why is it only 4000 worked? And I thought I was doing something wrong, but it's because the character ROM sits in there somewhere. And yeah, there's other places I could put this bitmap. I could put it in VicBank 0, but the problem is I could put it in Vic 0. I've never actually tried that. What address would that be then? 4000. No, you can't. No, because it starts down here. No, that's been silly. You can do relocators, like relocate the SID music and stuff, but I don't have that, so I'm just gonna find another one. Just a basic one. There's one of mine, I think. My SID, which you'll always put at 1000, and I usually make track 0 blank, so I'll change that to 1, make sure I choose it, and then scroll stuff. How do you set more than one SID? For example, you use one SID flash. So you do it, it's all one SID, but it's different tracks within that SID. It's just one file. So if you're making it in Goat Tracker, you can choose which track you're working on. So you have your instruments or whatever. Make up track 0. I usually make track 0 blank, and track 1 title screen, track 2 in game, track 3 end of game, track 4 high score table, whatever it may be. You can even have like sound effects, trigger like sound effects if you wanted, like music based sound effects, but you basically just choose it here, right? Or if you're doing it at runtime, you would use track and you set it through that, and you can set the, oh, you can't set in it. That might need a bit of work if your SID's somewhere else, unless this is detecting it. I think this is auto picking up what the SID is, if I'm right. If I was to change that, if it'll let me. 2000 track. No, so that's expecting. I mean, a lot of this stuff's still in its infancy, that it needs a bit more flexibility. So that would let me choose a track there. Like you could do it in a trigger event or whatever. So I think that should play music. Yeah. It's just a boring tune that I've made. Where's that bitmap? Oh, not said it. Oh, because yeah. Whoa. What happened there? Holy shit. Oh, because I corrupted it with the SID. The one before, it messed it up. So there you go. That shouldn't happen though. That shouldn't be happening. That's another bug. Fun times. Let's just re-import it. Yeah, what exactly happened? I know what happened. It was just that as soon as I imported that commando SID, it already overwrote the bitmap data. which was silly because it shouldn't do that. It should only decide that on compile time, not actually do it in the editor, which is unexpected. So it actually was weird. Confirm, escape, right, bitmap, got that. Let's just check that it's not, yep, yeah, interesting. I'm getting a kind of an issue with the lines there, so you can actually like put in these no operation cycles, so that it's got some padding before and after it. And you see it still hits some of the blocks, so you get little kind of weird bad lines. That happens normally. It's just a timing thing because it's drawing the screen at the same time as calculating what it needs to do. You always get that. So using the no operations helps to sort of push it out the way a bit. You can type stuff in here. You can do commands as well, like col_col02. This is red, right? And hey, how's it going, Lenny McCoy? And there we go, it's turned red. You can also do track commands here, so you can do track 00, which I think is the null track. My 0 track is just do nothing, so as soon as it gets to that, we'll stop. There we go. And you could probably make up a drum machine with this, like if I did track 01, right, that might be a track for a snare sound, right, and you can just sort of bork it and go kind of mad. And I don't know what will happen if I keep turning it off and on, just for the fun of it. Might just hear it pip because it's changing. Right, you can set the speed as well of that. SPD 01 is fast. So once it gets to that, it'll change the speed and then wrap back round. Oh no, one's slow. One is slow and 7 is fast, and you can do, so that's color, track, speed, and a wait, underscore wait, and it'll wait for a second. There you go. That's it waiting. Yeah, it's all about fun, right? Somebody's asked something. Let's see. Constantly having to fix this. I will definitely update that soon for the sake of streaming. How do you handle enemy between the player and an enemy? That's a good question. So going back to that little Space Invader one, which I don't even think I saved, to be honest, but is that here? Yep, I never saved it. I'll just quickly do that again. I'll just do a little blob. Right. Make it red or pink. You can change the color mode as well. You can have it as multicolor if you wanted. I'm not going to do these colors actually because I realize there's a bug when I click these, it populates the whole bank. So I'll just leave it like that. So sprite, set up a sprite. Let's see if I can get it to work. Choose a set. Choose the sprite. That's going to be the enemy. You can also like double click here, and and rename the whole block if you wanted. I don't need macro sprite or whatever. I can just call it. Oh, that's weird. Sprite enemy. Doesn't matter. It's just a label. Doesn't do anything. Right. That we'll need to make it move. So setting up. This is a core loop here. I'm going to tab these in because I just like to make that obvious. VWeight. Hardware sprite pointer 0. This is me. What's that I've done there? Making sure something, I don't know what I've done there for what reason. Joystick calls, check state if node has fired. So let's put this guy somewhere up high. Let's just do 40 across by 40. I'm just going to check it to see where he is. Oh. Why? Oh, yeah. Make sure you change the bank, the sprite, no sprite bank, the hardware sprite. 0. There's only 0 to 7. Should be okay. Down a bit. Let's do them across a bit more. Oh, there's music in this as well, and sound effects. Where's that sprite gone? Maybe more. I don't know why his 63FA. 63FA. Oh, I'm hard coding something there. Okay. I don't know where that sprite is, or why it's not showing up. Oh, frame 4, that's right, yeah. I'm confused now. I wonder if me changing this has had some kind of side effect, because there is references to titles. Nope. I don't know why that's not showing up. That's a bit of a mystery. Let me just change the sprite. Yeah. That one's not there either. Fun times. Something I'm obviously doing. The enabler. There might be a sprite enabler here or something. I wonder. Yeah. Right. See. Okay. I've now got a node that does this. Right. So this used to be how I would enable sprites. So basically I'm enabling sprite 1 for firing. Right. And I think that whatever that is. Sprite 01 enable that has fired. Why am I doing one? I'm just going to enable all 3 sprites for now. We'll probably see the bullet as well. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, we see the bullet down there. That's fine. Right, fire. Okay, good enough for the test. Right, that's what that was. I forgot I was doing that. So I could essentially do an enabler and this change it to a disable for sprite 1 to stop the bullet being seen, and I guess I must be enabling it somewhere else. Yeah. Oh, it gets enabled by default, so I should really put this, and that should work there. Oh, disable after. Depends on the order. Oops. Oh shit. Oh, that was just rogue nodes. How about a demo which takes Manic Miner, adds a new level. Okay, sorry, you're not asking very much. Right, cool. That's tidied up. I'm just going to save that. Take Manic Miner, adds a new level. Manic President exploring the unfinished ballroom. Okay. So first I would need to get Manic Miner into this, so that's a big feat. Work out how it works out the maps as well is a big thing, because you realise that making maps is pretty tricky, because it uses up a ton of memory if you don't optimize it some way, and build them up, you know, at runtime is what you would essentially do, and that's what I'm working on, is like a meta map system that populates tables of assets. So you just make the map and out of assets, and then it creates a table which basically simulates you making the map out of assets, which is very cost effective and doesn't just read a whole chunk of memory, you know, block by block, because it's wasteful. Right, so that is them. I want sprite 1 to collide with sprite 2, so I would do collide, just a generic collision. Sprite 1 and 2. What happens if they hit? We're going to go and do something. So this will happen in a cycle. It's a JSR call. So we could put it in our core loop here, check our joystick and everything. What's going to happen if we collide? Well, I'll make up a label and say hit enemy. Right, and that's going to pick that, hit enemy, and I need to then do something with this. And it's a JSR, expects when I hit this to have an RTS after it. So as long as I can put this somewhere, I'll get an org block, enemy. What happens? Well, we will just turn off the enemy sprite. Is the easiest thing to do for now. So sprite 2. So I'll use a enabler again. Just drag that one across with control. Disable 2, is that right? 2, yeah. And that should just make it disappear. We can enable disable the bullet as well, 1 and 2, so it kills the bullet, and then RTS back. That should work. Let's try it. So Lenny, yeah, it was a bit of a complex one, that it worked eventually. Why was that so slow though? Why did it take forever? Macro move up. There's probably better ways for me to do stuff. Oh, I can move up, down, left, right. So the bullet is moving. Bullet fire, bullet move. I could put the check here as it moves instead of back here. Let's see if that's a bit sharper. Oh, I can't see the bullet. Don't know why. Why can't I see the bullet now? Just doing that. Not perfect. I mean, it should be, because sprite should be like pixel perfect. Maybe I'll call it earlier before the wait. Oh, that was just like that was instant. So sometimes the order of stuff matters. That was not right either. What's check state doing? Check state. Oh, that's just for there. I have no idea why that's just doing that now instead of what it was. What have I actually done? I don't get why it's like too late. So, don't get that. That should be like instant. Both objects would disappear because it's a sprite hitting a sprite. Let me just set the border just to see if the timing's off with that as well. Good for an effect. Border to 2 for red. So I'll do that. I'll do yellow after it as well, just to see how long it's taken. I'll do A actually. Pink, less distractive. So it should set the border red, disable 2 sprites, and then come back to that. And obviously when you fire, it should be enabling your bullets again. So that's another little edge case just to check for. See, that was super slow, which just tells me that something's not quite right. And the fact that I can't call collision from the bullet movement, bullet fire, like bullet move, bullet done, jump target, bullet done. This is updating the bullet every frame, so bullet move is being called when you press fire. Bullet move, it must be a JSR bullet move somewhere. I need a kind of find thing would be good here. That's the difference between this and a text one, is trying to find your calls to stuff. Bullet move. This is a go-to. That's fine. That's there. So it goes to goes to here and jumps back to target, but it should still do its routines. It should still go there and then come back because it's a JSR. RTS back. Group 1, group 2. Group 1, group 2. Yeah, it's not like it's moving fast either. Let's just try after. Yeah, club with that thing there, but I don't know. Is there something not right about this? That needs to be the jump target. Right. That's annoying when you think something should just work. And yeah, I didn't see the border go red. Yeah, it's just like, because it goes red then pink so quickly, you'll not really see it. It'll be like a couple of rasters worth. But that's annoyed me, that. So the only place it really worked was like here or something. Oh man. Instead of setting that order, let's do ink. So I'll just do absolute relative positive. So it's just going to increase colors. I just want to see how long it sort of takes. So just I did play it once. That's annoying. I wonder if there's like something I've not got enabled. I'm just going to fill this sprite up completely. Be like that. How dare you cause me problems? But that ain't right. Like, why is it like miles above it? I like, what? And now I'm really confused. So now it's changing the border when the bullet is outside the screen, which is something else. It's been a while since I looked at this. You know, it's been a while. Bullet fire. I must be doing something else here to make it move. Do you know what I could do is, there must be a core loop somewhere. Bullet move, fire. This is the core loop target. I'm just going to swap. Well, I'll just do that. I want to see what happens if I do all of them. Yeah, it'll be colliding with itself. Essentially, it'll probably just disappear right away. Nope. But see how like the bullet went outside the screen and it went off? That's puzzling me. Might mean that this is a bit broken. But I've tested all this before. I know it's fine. I'm going to swap these. Sorry, the music's probably doing everyone's head in. Turn that down a bit. Amazing tunes. Oops. So it wasn't actually hitting the sprite. The sprite was getting outside the screen, then it was doing its thing. So hit enemy this call based on these two. Just is not right. It's doing it when it's going out the screen. So that's annoying. Let me try sprite 0 hitting sprite 2. Must we get to the last org? Yeah, I don't know. See, that works fine with him. That's what should be happening. I think I'm messing with the sprite pointers somewhere, like here. Why did I do that? Why have I done that? And there. Oh, because he's moving left and right. That's fine. That's just the ship. That's just his A0 and A3. A0 for up. Yep. That's fine. They're fine. That's weird because it worked fine with 0 and 2, but it's 1 and 2. I wonder if it's something to do with this enabler stuff. Let's just take that away for now. It really is something else. Because I collided with it and it was fine. 63FA, 63F9. Let's change. Change that to 2 and change that to 1. So now, yeah, it's all going to be messed up, but yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, that was dumb. Well, yeah, detect the hit in the border, which is something else. I think maybe this is somewhat broken. There's a bullet always missed and hit the border. That's why it registered so long. Yeah, that's what it was. It never registered hitting the sprite, and it's just the bullet, which is strange because like me getting into the sprite worked. Sprite 0 with Sprite 2 worked. Yeah, Sprite 0 with Sprite 1 doesn't, which... So I can fly into it, like, no, do exactly what I expect the bullet to do. Very interesting. And I never knew you could detect hitting the border. So I must be doing something else. Like I'm making it switch off when it hits a border. There'll be some sort of logic in here that I've done. Bullet done. What's that again? I'm switching. Oh, this is a disabler as well, I think. Let me just turn these off a second. I see it turned yeah, turned that sprite off as well. That's this. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so these were doing a job. These were making the bullet disable, which is the same as me doing that. So I think these can go out in place of that one. What's the byte difference? 8 bytes. What was that? 8 bytes. So it's literally the same routine, which it should be. Sprite priority. Sprite priorities only matters with character stuff, I think. Let me try. I do have a priority thing. But this just says what sprites are going to be in front of text. I'll change these all to on, just in case there's some sort of weird default in memory or something about them. But I don't know. Could be. It's, still strange. The sprite hitting the border kills the. So hit enemy is actually being called here when the sprite hits the border. I'm just going to switch that off just to see. Exactly the same. sprite hitting me, which it should do as soon as I fire it, because it will be touching, theoretically, or I can move up a bit. Oh, I can't, not fast enough. But it is touching me. So that tells me that this is not working. Sprite 0, sprite 1. Although, when I did sprite 0, sprite 2, it worked. So I think there might be something wrong with the binary logic in this, potentially. Because that's what should be happening there. So to answer your question, no. I'm sorry that took forever, but it should work in theory, but I need to obviously fix that. I think there's let's see what that actually is. The collision check between sprites, because I might be able to just do it with code. And that's kind of the idea, is that, if something doesn't work, just fix it with a new code block or mnemonics. So that is going to be a bit down the way. Collision, bitmap, sprites, sprite, org block. So we're up here now, enabler, move. Save var, or did I miss all this? Why is it missing this part? It's got the order wrong. Where's 997? Did I pass it, maybe? 898, 885, 92B, 961. Macro sprite, comment block. I just completely ignored this first org block. Unless it's at the end. Ah, yeah. That's weird. Okay. It's obviously got the order wrong for the dump file. I wonder why that is. Okay, well, that's another little bug I'll fix. But let's just look at this, what it's doing. So enabler's doing your D015 stuff. That's what, yeah. 7 is 1, 2, 4. It's your first 3 sprites. Yep. Set var. It's fired. The comment. Target label. VWait. Instructions. Set var for the pointer for sprite 0. Making sure that's just defaulting it. And then it gets changed if it hits one of the joysticks. Joystick macro, which is a beefy boy. If node, which is just loading in the variable's address, comparing it with 1. If so, it jumps the bullet move. Not equal jumps to skip, which is an internal thing which keeps it, which just makes it go beyond it. So it's like an invisible label which sits here. Collision macro. DO1E and 5. Branch not equal. What's this jump? Exit ref instance. GSR hit enemy. yeah, this doesn't really break down stuff enough to see it, but basically it's a DO1E is the collision register, and 5 is you're comparing with them, and 2, yeah, these two. Okay, 1 and 4 touching. Okay, so you're masking, and then if they're not equal, then ignore it. If they are equal, what's this jump for? Call hit enemy. Right, let's just try that. I'll do a LDA. Get LDA ABS. So we're getting what's in an address. DO1E. Oops, did I do that? Yeah, and 5. So we're masking it to make sure it's 5. I'll just do a compare with 5. Just do it that way. Let's compare. Here we go, compare with 5. And then, okay, let's put this in. Compare 5. I'll do a BEQ branch of equal. Do the hit enemy, yeah. If it's equal to 5, do hit enemy. Do hit enemy. So otherwise, what am I trying to do here? Okay, we need to do a jump. Oh, no. This branches to there, which is going to do a JSR to hit enemy. Hit enemy. And it's going to come back. And then skip. Right, if it's equal to 5, go here, that will JSR. If it's not equal to 5, we're going to jump over to, well, we can just jump to target, to be fair. Yeah. Right, that should be the equivalent of that in theory, I think. Nope. I'll try the and. See, I'm not very good at code, as you can see. Try that and 05 to mask it. I'll try it the way that it did it as add carry. And. Okay, it's basically saying it's hitting all the time now. The other thing I could do is just check what's in there. I'm going to bring that back to what I did. Yeah. And let's just do LDA with what's in Yeah, we've got that already. Do you need to do it twice? No, the accumulator's already got it. So I'm going to do a store deal tool to see what's in there, what value. So there's a 0 in there. It's weird, it's hitting the border. It's always 0. I've done that wrong. Deal 1E is the right register. Should be BNE. Okay, let's try BNE. Always get them mixed up. BNE. It's always white. It's always 1. It's always 1. You mean BNE do the other thing? So if I did that instead, and change that to skip. That's one way to do it. It's the opposite logic. Oh, fuck me. Seriously? Am I getting the numbers right? Because I've got sprite 1, sprite 2, that's 0, 1, and 1, and that's 1 and 2. What is that? What's the binary for sprite 0 and sprite? So that's 1 and 4, 5. Yeah. Compare with 5, but we don't actually see that. I don't know if that registers right. Let me just check the set var lookup. Sprite config collision DO1E. So you're basically saying like if it's not 5, if they're not colliding, that's not the right logic. It would have to be if it's equal to 5, if I'm checking it with 5. But it's always 0. I'm going to change that. Yeah, like, so now it's just dancing all the time because I've changed the logic of these about. If it's equal, yeah, it's the same logic I had before. Do enemy hit. I don't know why it's not working, even with raw code. Does that work with the ship as the collision macro did? Yeah, the ship works fine, which is weird. I don't get it because there's nothing different between the ship and the bullet. They're sprites in the day, and I can wander up with the ship and it works. With this node, which is doing pretty much the same thing as what I'm trying to do hard coded here. It's annoying. So that should just work. So if I do 0 with 2, like as I've got it set up here, when the ship goes up to the sprite, it works. So if the sprite was the bullet, you know what? Let's try that. Let's try change. Maybe there's something weird with this. Let's just fire ships at it. Oops, and then that'll be 1 with 2, right? I'd be surprised if something wrong with the actual sprite. Yeah, just when it hits the border. So if I change this to sprite 1, put that back to that and make this sprite 0. Right, and there's some other stuff I'll need to change the logic for then. F9. These are all in F8. That will need to be sprite pointer. Sprite pointers. Sprite pointer 1. What? Oh, go away comment. Yeah, sprite pointer 1. Something else I'm doing with sprite pointers? No. Right. So now it's 0, 2 again. And the sprite's now sprite 1. Oh, I borked a few other things up, but I'll not be able to move. Oh. So funny. I forgot to do this. Moves 1. And this is now moving 0. Enabler. Bullet done. Turning off. Bullet 0. Bullet done. I'm going to question that again, but otherwise enable 0 and 2. Sorry, what's the 0 and 2? Yep, that should work. A few other things that would fix. Okay, positions are different. Deal 1.5 or what's deal 1.5 again? That's an enabler as well. I think that's the enable. We're enabling sprite 2, but that'll be now sprite 0. And we're getting sprite position of 1 and storing it into 0. So I'll just reverse these to 0 and 3 and 1. Well, I'm firing giant ships at it. So, because that should be A1, where's A0 set for the bullet? A0, A3. Bullet, 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 bullet. This one. This should be A1. Fucking hell. So it's nothing to do with that at all. There's something to do with it moving. It's sort of been committed to moving or something. Bullet move. Bullet done. I think maybe this needs to be here, and I need to do a bullet done on it. So I need to basically say that the bullet is dead. There must be a bullet state or something. Has fired. Has fired. I guess I could set it true. I don't know. Sometimes like you need to be really just clued in what you're doing in one project, because I'm trying to like get back on track with this. So it's fine. It creates a nice problem, and that just like colliding with the ship itself by the looks of it. So that's 1 and 0 with the collision, which isn't true. Something is up. Yep, same deal. I don't know what's wrong. What's wrong? Fuck. Right, that's probably for another day. Right, let's just try a basic example, because I know for a fact it works, and I just want to prove that the collision's not broken. There's something else I've done in here which I forget because I've been trying to do more code stuff, and it's not broken. It's just that my approach to it is not right. There's something here I can't figure out yet, so I'm just going to reset that, and I'll do a simple sprite, like a Pac-Man thing, right? A sprite eating a sprite. That's my Pac-Man. And yeah, this can be like a pill, right? That should, in theory, work fine if I bring in a couple of sprites. Sprite set, drag that there, and do 1, and move it along a bit on AA, and my core game loop, my joystick macro. If I push left to right, what happens? I'll put them under here, is fine. RTS for each of these. Move block. Move. Where's my moves again? Under sprites. Move. I've got to move sprite 0 to the right, 2, and if I move, oh sorry, that's -2, and 2 there. You can obviously use vars as well if you wanted, but I'll just do it that way. It's not too expensive a routine, I think. 9 bytes, yeah. That'll move them left and right. I need a V-weight in here. And collision in my cycle, so I'll do collide sprite 0 with sprite 1, and make that sprite 1. What happens if they hit? I'll do another org. We'll do it will collect pill. Pill. It's a JSR, so we'll do enabler. I've got to disable sprite 1. By default they're enabled through these, so we're just disabling that one, and RTS. Right, that's the simplest version of it. Simple collect sprite. It's a sprite collect as opposed to like a bitmap thing or a tile or something. So if this doesn't work, I'll eat my shoes in front of live television. There you go. See, eats it. Right, just eat it. So that works. Let's check the other sprites then. Just 2 and 3, and just prove it's should be working. Starting to theorize why it might not work, but I'm not too sure yet. So it's 3 different sprites here. 1, 2, 3. Collision with any one of those. That's going to collect them all at the same time. No, but it will turn off one. So they won't turn off. That's interesting then. So how much is a collision routine? It's only 13 bytes. So you basically want to then do like 3 of these for each. I'll make this probably a bit more elegant moving forward, thinking about it. Click pill 1, because now you need like these routines, which is, this is not efficient, but it's good enough for getting started for a simple game. I don't think any of these are that expensive. 8 bytes, 1 byte, 13 bytes, you know, they're not major. So click pill 1, click pill 2, click pill 3. Just make sure that all works. And it's probably just something wrong with that code for the other one, right? Click pill 1, click pill 2 and 3. We can also do another thing for score while we're at it. So print extended up here, and we'll do a pre-clear the screen variable. So we need number of pills were collected. So do var byte pills collected. Let's initialize that here. Just look up, leave it 0, and then yep, we can now say variable pills collected, show it in decimal format at the top center, and then drag this over and do a relative by 1 for each of these. Is fine. Yeah, for each is fine. Yep. Right, so that's that. What? Okay, that's to do with the. What's that to do with? As soon as I brought this in, and I was expecting to be in text mode, but I am in that like bank. Let's just do a Vic node just to make sure it's setting right. Vic bank 0. Is that my sprites there? Yeah, to 800. Vic bank 0. Yeah. Don't you just love it when things go to plan? That's this thing. It's this new print thing is causing a bit of a bummer. It's balls. Did that show at the top? Have you built the game with a short? Yeah, see that is correct, but the sprite pointers are messed up. Have you built a game with a short game loop where you GSR to your subroutines, loop GSR input, GSR render? So the joysticks are all GSR calls, like it will GSR to these labels. The collision is essentially a GSR here to these. So they're kind of built into the nodes, but yeah, they're all GSR sort of routines within the loop. That's the loop. And then anything else you wanted to update graphics, effects, then that would all be there. If you wanted to trigger a sound effect, it's like a one-shot thing. So you could GSR, play sound effect, and RTS back. Yeah, so you just build all your stuff like that. So what I tend to do is like put my use org blocks for stuff that's not core game loop. Like I would put these up here eventually. right? And then I would put my boxes around them and say what it does. And this would be move left or right. And same for here. Pill collect. Of course, like these could be made better by just like instead of it being like 1, 2, and 3, I would pipe sort of variables into something like that. Enabler being based on a variable, and then I just change the variable would be more effective. But I'm learning these things as I go and realizing, okay, everything should just have plug into vars, and then you just update the var, and that's probably the way it's done correctly. But yeah, these things are all progressing, and it's became a much more sort of interesting tool in that sense. So yeah, I've got something wrong with this, where it's now it's clobbering the Vic bank, which and that didn't work. That should have worked. So this could be where it's going wrong, because I've just proved that either it's the collision detection thing. Yeah. So 0 and 1 works fine, but 0 and 2 didn't. Let me just set a border color, and I'll know whether it's the enabler or it's the collision. So set var, give me a set var. Yep. Look up border. I'll just increase by 1 for each. It's fine. Should be good. Right. Yep. I mean, yeah. That's so the enabler's not working. So that's what's broken. That's probably what was broken. It only works for 1. So yeah, that's an issue. Let me just look at the code for that then. Enabler. Holy shit, is it 1 o'clock? I'm gonna have to go to bed soon. Yeah. And 251. That's not right. Okay. So it's masking. Yeah, I reckon there's something wrong with my enabler. And 253. That's masking everything but 1 and 2. That's the 1 and 2. What? I don't think they're right. Right. I will just take out them. So I think that's what's broken. Is these? They're fairly new, to be honest, and they were rushed out. So what I'll do instead is move them. That means they still exist, but I just move them out of view as a kind of hack. The sprites exist anyway, so it's no biggie. So I'll move sprite 1 to, yeah, just 0, 0. It's absolute position, in fact, would be better. Doesn't matter. No, in fact, I will do a set var lookup hardware sprite position sprite 1 y set to absolute 0, so that'll move it off its screen. It'll work. So that's for 1, 2, and 3. At least we got to the bottom of the problem, which is this boy. So a sprite, sprite positions, sprite 1, 2, y. Right. Fingers crossed. You fucking son of a bitch. Now I'm confused even more. So could it be these? Could it be these? This be the problem. 1, 2, 3. Wonder if it doesn't like more than one. Interesting. That was just there's something broken in both cases. I think collision and enable they're both made roughly at the same time, or they're using the same setup, and I think I've got the logic wrong with that. And I'm saying that, let's see, that was pill 2, wasn't it? Yeah, that's pill 2. Because when I touched pill 1, it flashed, but pill 2 disappeared. So is that just because I set these wrong? 3, 5, and 7. Man, it's too late. It's getting on a bit. I will come back to this, but I reckon there's something wrong with this. One of these two or both, and it just needs more testing. But yeah, I'll get your shoot 'em up game working. Don't you worry about that. That's one of the first things to get right, is being able to shoot stuff. Oh, someone who knows stuff. Yes. Auto clear, reading the register, e.g. using. Oh yeah, I remember this actually. That's right. Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, because if you read the collision, it basically clears it. I forgot about that. Acts as a reset. The rest is automatically cleared to 0 immediately after it is read. So what does that mean then? Because that's the problem. What does that mean for this? How do we get it to behave again? If it resets to 0, like how do you then check another collision? But that's fine, like, you know, you collide with something, then it resets it, so it's ready to be checked again, surely. Commodore, crazy. Still doesn't explain a lot of things though. Like, I don't get why, if I collide with sprite 2, sprite, and I'm colliding with sprite 1, in fact, that sprite 2 disappears, that it calls this one instead of, oh no, wait a minute, that is pill 2. Yeah, that should be, if I collide with pill 2, I'm not even detecting pill 1. That's 0001, 02, 03, 03, 04, 04, 05. Oh, I've done them wrong. That's what it is. 0001. I know I'm 01, 0001, 02, 03, 04, 05, 06, 07. That's right. First, you have to detect collision not 0. Don't I have that built in when I was making that? Yeah. Let me just see what my compile script says. It's been a while. Right. So this is my crazy code, by the way, in case you're wondering. With the tool, we've got to get some sleep. Yeah, I'm ready for bed as well, to be honest. But yeah, this is what I'm basically doing is sprite reading this, reading both, masking. Yeah, I don't think I'm doing it in JSRF. Yeah, I've not really done anything complicated with that. So yeah, I'll need to revisit it. But thanks for the tips there and the info and everyone who's came along tonight. And I'll do more. I'll fix those. I'll fix that bug and hopefully it fixes everything and I can update that. But it's always good to fix these things. As time goes by, I don't want any loose ends when people start to make games and I don't know how to figure it out. But yeah, it's been great to have a good bunch of people. Feel free to follow the YouTube and I'll be doing more of these streams and grab the light version, muck about with it. Let me know if you want features or if indeed you find a bug. That would be amazing. And I'll do more examples and stuff as time goes by. Thanks for coming along again, and I'll catch you guys. Have a good night, have a good rest of the weekend, and I'll catch you soon. Bye bye for now.